When you think back in your journey, what were some of like the biggest successes that you can recall, right? When you look back, your proudest moments, those accomplishments.
The chief operating officer title in general, I was doing all the things and in school and doing all the things on the side, all the reading, all the, extra work and things like that. And I didn't even have that title in mind. I just knew I wanted to learn and like keep improving and bettering myself. And then around the time of graduation, my employer came to me and they're like, we're going to promote you. And I was just kind of beside myself when I got that title, to be perfectly honest, because it was like such a big deal to me. And I was like, wow, like all the things I've done are like culminating into like something this big. And again, like you're getting recognized for like doing the work that you put in. So that was really awesome as well. So I would say those are probably two of the big ones for me.
So let's go back to the promotion to the COO role. Was this not a
Yeah.
conversation you were actively having with your leadership team?
I had requested a title that made sense for the job I was doing. So that
Okay.
was kind of like where I was coming from. Like when it comes time to like performance reviews, I was like, school is going to be ending here. Like I've learned a whole bunch and I've been doing a whole bunch here. And I'd really like a title that lines up with that. And I didn't expect it to be that title. So that was like a really welcome surprise. So there was conversation on it, of course, after that. But it was just, I just took it as like such an opportunity to, again, like be able to do the things and build people up and have the teams. And, it's like working it on the clock, like you pretty much get what you put in, I would say. So it's been a great place for that, where if you put the work in, you get rewarded in terms of like titles or opportunities. And so that's been really, really a great experience.
That's so great to hear. I think that so oftentimes folks feel like they're advocating for themselves and they're putting in the work and they're doing all the things, and then they get overlooked or they don't get that recognition and they don't get that bump into that next role. And so, I mean, you were really good about having that conversation. Now, this is something we see a lot with women, is they're not advocating for themselves and they're not being their own champion in any situation. So how did you build up your framework, or kind of like what were the things that you did for yourself that enabled you to go and be your best advocate?
Yeah, I would say I took chances on things so like I had started there at On the Clock when I was about halfway through the degree, I would say.
Okay.
But I was in a unique position being at a smaller place that all of the classes I was taking and all of the projects I was working on directly applied all the time there. So I would take a project and I might write about On the Clock, and how I'm utilizing whatever new skill set they're trying to teach or whatever it might be. And so doing that, it really like forced me to apply what I was learning. And so it was an even better experience than it would have been to just like go through the books and like read the stuff. I find if you try to take things and teach other people or directly apply them, it really like reinforces what you're learning and what you're doing. And so that really helped me a lot because I was taking time outside of work to do that and, write about it, get feedback from professors on the different things. And so like, it was a cool experience with that too. And then when you took it and applied it, I could take chances on things because, they were pretty open, they have the mindset of being like an incubator, if you will.
Yep.
That's, that's a big part of the culture. So it's like, if you want to learn new things and try new things, you can. So I was able to do that and take chances, and it worked out well because it's like, you're bringing new ideas to the table, new things, and you're executing it and making it happen. So yeah.
I think that you probably made the most of your educational experience than most people do, because you were literally taking what you're learning and applying it. Not everyone has that option of doing it.
No.
And to your point, right, the real world work is what is going to that's going to separate you from everybody else, right? To your point earlier about being overlooked for roles, you didn't have the experience. Now you're learning the thing and actually building the experience in parallel.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when it came to marketing, in particular, like a big part of my capstone project at school was a marketing project to work on their cochlears. They're a hearing implant company. Their customer personas, their targeted buyer profiles. And so I could exactly take like that experience and then like 2 months later, do it at On the Clock. And so it was like you had all this feedback and interesting stuff and you could do it there. And it really helped grow things. So yeah, it was was a great time.
That's so cool. I think that as I think about my daughter and her educational journey, I would probably advise her, like, go get your bachelor's, get some real world experience, then go back and continue your education. I just think it's the context of having that applied learning is so different. So I love that you were able to do that.
It is, because, I started at a community college like everybody, when you're younger, and I had to take accounting, and I failed accounting, to be honest, like the first time. And I also failed calculus, like the first time, failed that. And like, I never went back to calculus. Didn't do that. That's not for me. But it's like, I couldn't apply it and I didn't understand why. So it's like such a shame to me that you get stuck going through these courses when you're like 18, 19, 20. And a lot of people do it and they breeze through it great. But like, you need to be able to understand why and like the purpose of it, to me, like when you're actually going through it. So I completely agree with that. The real world experience, hopefully, they can get an internship or something somewhere. It just would have made all the difference for me, I think, to understand the why. But
I completely agree. I also I started off at and I thought I was going to college to become an accountant. So I remember sitting and taking my first accounting 101 class. After 2 classes, I was like, this is definitely not for me. We're going to switch majors. And I went into communications. It felt much more safe and a lot more aligned with my areas of interest. So I agree on the accounting stuff. Wonderful. Well, for everyone listening, if you've enjoyed this episode, please rate and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, subscribe on YouTube, and connect with me on LinkedIn. Until next time, we'll see you soon.